But all the talk of late about unrest in the dressing room, behind you or not, is that the sort of performance that proves that they're in this for the fight?
I told you.
I absolutely loved that little clip from Erik Ten Hag's post-match interview after United got a draw against Liverpool at Anfield. He was asked about the dressing room unrest. I told you. He's been saying it all along, and I think against Liverpool, we saw a few things that maybe we didn't expect as fans. And I mean that in a positive sense. I'm going to run through 3 key changes and differences that Ten Hag made to this team, which helped. Ten Hag got it right at Liverpool. Gary Neville might think that it wasn't a very good performance, but I think from a defensive perspective, United ticked all the boxes as a team. And that's what I think a lot of United fans didn't expect against Liverpool. I'm going to run through everything in this video. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. Give me 10 minutes of your time, because I'm going to enjoy this one. Because I enjoyed that performance against Liverpool. I went into that game, right? The first thing we learned is that this team can play as a team. We haven't been able to say that much this season. You might say, oh, you're scraping barrels, you're celebrating nil-nils, you're celebrating draws. Oh, what a fall from grace. We are shit. We've been awful this season. We have been so ridiculously open that to go to Liverpool with the expectation that we all had as fans, the players turned up there. Dressing room unrest. You can't put in a performance like that if you don't have a dressing room behind the manager. And that's what Ten Hag was speaking about after the game. All right? From a team setup perspective, I think everybody to a man played well against Liverpool. I don't think there were really any, 2 out of 10 performances. People are going to have a go at Rashford for what he did when he came on. I think Garnacho was quite ineffective. I think overall, defensively as a unit, everyone played well. Now, I found this comment really quite strange from Gary Neville, saying that Manchester United played really poorly. We went there with a game plan, and I think we executed it as good as we could have done, really. Could we have scored from the counterattacks that we had? We created literally the best chance in the game. Varane was absolutely imperious alongside Johnny Evans, up against a Liverpool team that had beaten everybody that they had played at Anfield this season in the league. Up against the Liverpool team who scored 7 past us last year and 4 the game before. But we played really poorly. By limit, look, they had 34 shots. The eye test sometimes can tell you what the data doesn't. And I was at the stadium, and the only time I think they truly threatened our goal was Trent Alexander-Arnold's shot that just went by the post, and Salah when he curled one in. But even that was a pretty comfortable save from Onana. I think game plan-wise, Erik got it absolutely spot on against Liverpool. And I didn't know whether United could do that sort of performance as a team, but they did from an attitude perspective. But from a tactical perspective, there were 3 key changes that Ten Hag made to that team that I wanted him to do. And I think you can learn it all by taking a look here at this this is the passing network. The way these work, if you haven't seen one before, the darker the line, the thicker the line between the 2 players, that's how often that pass was made. Look, Onana through to McTominay, one of the most regular passes of the game. Onana not really passing it out to Delo too much or to Shaw too much. Anthony to McTominay was probably the pass that happened the most during the entire game. There's 3 things that we can learn from this. First of all, look at the shape itself, right? And we've seen so many of these from United this season where just you can't really understand what setup and formation is, because in and out of possession, we had 2 different styles. I wanted Ten Hag to simplify it against Liverpool, and I think he did exactly that. If you take a look here at the overall shape United had, it kind of resembled a 4-4-2 at times. McTominay really quite pushed up, working alongside Højlund. Amrabat and Mainu in midfield, Garnacho and Anthony dropping as more traditional wingers in that shape, and a back 4. And it was Kobe and Amrabat that made the biggest difference. Having those 2 sitting in front of that defence, you can see that. It's almost like United have actually got a box shape with Evans and Varane and Amrabat and Mainu. And what we did there, we squeezed out the space in the middle of the pitch here, right? Let's get this up. We squeezed out the space here, and we said, there's no way you are coming through that area. So we gave Liverpool the opportunity to go down there, We forced them wide. They had chances from Simicast, got lots of room. Salah got lots of room, but ultimately ran into our defence. We gave them the width, but stopped them coming through the middle. And that's just something that we haven't done enough of. And that's something why having these two makes such a difference together, and having him in particular makes such a difference. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when Casemiro is completely fit. Because if you're playing a system like that, that really suits Casemiro. And United will be so much more defensively resolute. But of course, it does take away from the attack, and we haven't found that balance yet. I think we were equally as defensively sound, not for the full game against Bayern Munich, but overall, far more defensively sound, not conceding huge chances. Actually, we conceded more chances against Bayern Munich. Who am I kidding? But Kobbie Mainoo, mate, ladies and gents, he's the real deal, okay? This isn't like just a hype for hype's sake. There are certain individuals that come through that are just ready. And I think I've said this before, but just the quality of football in terms of the physical attributes needed to be a footballer now. Like, you have to be an athlete. #athlete. And Kobbie Mainoo, he's so good. He really is. Scanning, vision, on the ball, off the ball. He works smarter rather than working harder, but he does both at the same time. He doesn't make runs without a run that needs to be made. I'm kind of waffling here a little bit about Kobbie Mainoo, but all I'm saying is I wanted Manchester United to be compact, be simple with the tactics, and that's exactly what Ten Hag did, and something he also did as well, which I wanted him to do. Didn't know whether he would, but we dropped the front press. Okay, again, we go back to the shape here, and we see how Manchester United set up, and we can see that Rasmus Højlund, the line there, we've got a line there, and we've got a line there. Previously, that's not what United have done. Højlund's been chasing up front. Anthony and Garnacho, we've kind of exhausted our energy resources by chasing that front press. We didn't do it against Liverpool. We sat in more of a mid-press, and it made us so much harder to break through. Hence why, look, as I said, Liverpool had 34 shots, but tell me how many clear cuts they had. Because it didn't. Because we squeezed the space. And by doing that, we were so much better as a collective team. And the third and final change, so that for me, number one is playing two in midfield. Number two was dropping the front press. And number three was simplifying it with our fullbacks. Luke Shaw really operated as a left back, right? Now, Diogo Dalot, he drifted inside a little bit more, kind of received the ball sometimes from Onana. Of the two, I think it's reflected in the shape here. You can see that Dalot is drifted inside a little bit more than Luke Shaw, right? There's Dalot over there, and there's Luke Shaw over there, but not too much. Ten Hag kind of dropped the inverted fullback system, or reduced it massively against Liverpool, and by doing so, the players understood it more. Like this is kind of like United and Ten Hag, if I'm being completely honest, taking a step backwards to take a step forwards. Because this isn't what Ten Hag wants to do. He wants to go toe-to-toe. He wants to be expansive. He wants his team to be proactive, to be on the front foot, to be pressing high up the pitch. But in our current form, with the players we've got, with the confidence that we don't have, it was that change of shape that made all the difference against Liverpool. Now, Ten Hag has, in my opinion, got the perfect example there of why we need to play with two central midfielders who are defensively minded first and foremost, and defensively aware. That was the difference that Mainoo and Amrabat made. But truth be told, in these last two games when we've done that, it was Bruno and Amrabat against Bayern, and it was Mainoo and Amrabat against Liverpool. And in both those games, we've really struggled to create chances. We had a big chance from Højlund, but you can't expect your strikers to have 100% conversion rate. I think 1 in 3 is a fair conversion rate for a striker. But those tactical changes, Ten Hag got it absolutely spot on. Proved everybody wrong that United could play that sort of defensively resolute, sound, collective. Proved everybody wrong. The dressing room's lost. You can't put in a performance like that if a dressing room is lost. Proved everybody wrong that he can change it up and switch it up and tweak according to who we are playing and what the occasion is. Now it's on Ten Hag to take that forward into West Ham. I would love to see us keep that shape. If we're going to play that shape, you have to play Bruno instead of McTominay, though, because you need someone far more creative next to Højlund, because McTominay just isn't creative enough. As much as he will help in and around, it's that person who plays behind Højlund, if you're going to play that system, has to be the creative spark, and that's why Bruno would suit that role there. But I'm just happy that Ten Hag changed it, switched it up. It could have been a 1-0. That could have been a snatch and grab. But I think for Gary Neville to say that was a really poor performance, I think it's wrong. I think United were absolutely solid as a team, and we haven't been able to say that much this season. And to go and do that at Anfield, given that we were going into that game expecting a humiliation again, I think was really good. Now, take that to West Ham, take it to Villa, take it to Forest, build on it. That's what United haven't done at any point this season. Please make this, when we do, finally build on it. You can let me know what you think in the comments, as you always do.